A corrupt government cannot liberate the people. If the head of the stream is corrupt, the entire river will be also. I do not support corruption.
Now, the report showed that the Integrity Commission was mainly focused on 3 companies associated with the Prime Minister. The 3 companies that form part of the Integrity Commission's probe are Estate Bridge Development Company Limited, Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, and Positive Media Solutions Limited. All 3 are linked to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. Due to the complexity of the matter, the Integrity Commission hired an independent forensic examiner to assess the financial transactions between the 3 companies and determine the true value of the investments. The authorities looked at bank statements involving the 3 companies. Those bank accounts were held at 3 financial institutions: the National Commercial Bank NCB, NCB Capital Markets, and Barita. Now, intercompany deposits among the 3 companies linked to the Prime Minister totaled roughly $473.2 million. Intercompany withdrawals amounted to roughly $427.2 million. That's for the period 2020 to June 2023. The Integrity Commission said records submitted for Imperium and the explanations from Dr. Holness do not fully account for the transactions. In addition, financial statements and other documentation from Imperium do not account for the movement of over $72 million from Positive Media to Imperium. Likewise, the management accounts of Positive Media and other documentation submitted to the Commission do not account for the amounts advanced to Imperium. Now, there's also an interesting development with the tax authorities. Tax Administration Jamaica indicated that Imperium filed a nil tax return for 2021 and 2022, meaning the business did not declare any income or expenses on the form. However, Imperium earned over $5.1 million in 2021 and over $6.5 million in 2022 in dividend, exchange gains, interest, and other income. Expenses for Imperium in 2021 were roughly $9.8 million and for 2022 roughly $9.5 million. Estate Bridge also filed a nil tax return for 2021. However, interest income was over $1 million. The Integrity Commission is therefore urging Parliament to support the matter being referred to the Financial Investigations Division (FID). The Commission says there can be no finality in the matter until the FID has completed its work.
Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Kagirascope. And in today's video, we're going to tackle this video whereby angry Jamaicans have come out and exposed their dirty politicians. Let me call them dirty because they are dirty. Now, before we even dive into the full video, I'd love to put this across. This issue that we're seeing from Jamaicans complaining about corruption, it's not just in Jamaica, it's everywhere. Even here in Africa, in my country, we are still facing the same thing. Complaining about this leader is not doing whatever he pledged to do. This certain leader is a thief. This certain leader has grabbed a huge amount of land that's just sitting idle when some Jamaicans, some Kenyans, somewhere don't really have a shelter. They don't really have a place to build. They don't really have a place they can do their farming and all that. But who is to be blamed for all of this? I know most of us, we are going to blame our politicians. But I feel like the blame falls on us. Because we vote somebody into power because we hate the other person. Because we've been brought up. We've been fed lies. We've been fed some, I don't know how to use, which is the correct word, but we vote from a hatred perspective. We vote somebody because this person speaks the same language as we do. We vote in because this person is of the same color like mine. But how is that benefiting us? How is that helping our countries grow? How is that going to end the amount of corruptions in our country? How is that going to combat the amount of crimes in our countries? So let's watch this video up to the end, and then I'll be back with a few discussion.
People, wanna see that comment here? I need to go check it out. But let me show you the video where it comes from.
And welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, more stunning allegations from the parliamentary opposition regarding the $31 million neurosurgical drill purchased by the Southeast Regional Health Authority.
At a press conference today, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, said an internal investigation revealed that the company that won the bid purchased two similar drills of the same make and model for only 250,000 Jamaican dollars around the same time the drill was sold to Sarah.
As Kalisha Williams reports, the opposition is calling for Sarah to immediately tell the country whether the drills are the same.
Speaking at the office of the opposition leader today, opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, outlined the findings of his investigation into the $31 million drill that was purchased by the Southeast Regional Health Authority, SARA, for the Bustamante Hospital for Children. In his opening address, Dr. Dawes told journalists that his findings revealed blatant corruption within the health ministry and a hijacking of the procurement process for the drill.
In November last year, just before the drill was purchased by Sarah for the Bustamante Hospital for Children for $31,500,000. Two drills of the same type, EM200, same manufacturer, same specifications, same model numbers, were brought in by one company, the company that won the bid to supply that $31 million drill.
And in assessing the invoice for the drill from the manufacturer,
we see that it was not a new drill. They were refurbished drills with a purchase price of $1,600 US. That was the declared value, and they paid $90,000 in customs fees, bringing the grand total, landed the same drill, model number, specifications, landed in Jamaica, cost nowhere close to $31 million, but 250,000 Jamaican dollars.
which means, according to Dr. Dawes, that the drills that the company purchased for 250,000 Jamaican dollars had the same specifications as the drill that the same company sold Sarah for $31 million. And so he said Sarah has several questions to answer.
Boy, when time I tell us a wickedness can't done, you know. Imagine that. I couldn't even watch the rest of the video, people. I couldn't. You can follow the comment and you can go watch it. But to me, this is not only egregious. When we have these unaccounted for millions and billions of dollars that we cannot put our finger on, and we cannot see who is receiving these monies, who is trampling on our financial future. That's why I tell you now, come to the lives, come to class Wednesdays at 5 p.m., Saturdays at 10 a.m. You see, this is a perfect scenario of why we cannot complain. Okay? Because uno don't know uno rights. If we knew our rights, I mean, I include myself in it too, even though me know better than that, you know. But I'm going to include myself in the collective. If we knew our rights properly, none of this would be happening. There is a reason all of this is still happening. We cannot hold those who violate their mandate accountable because the Constitution did not institute any penalties for violations. I mean, I tell you, say, that was a crafty move, you know. You see me? To have all of these laws and all of these precautions, but no penalties for those who violate them. That allows the court, in its discretion, to now determine what is an appropriate penalty for the violation. So this strips the people of their inherent right of knowing upfront that something is a violation and what exactly the penalty is. So now you have the due process, you have the protections, but you don't know ahead of time what exactly the penalties are going to be. And this is exactly why a lot of people get away with then get away with it. Because if it was specifically stated in the law that if you do this, this is the penalty, there can be no kind of leniency, no going around it. None of them something there. We would effectively have a better society. So that's why I tell you to come to class, come to the live, so you can participate, you can learn, you can see how we as a people can activate the Constitution. Because right now it is dormant. Unfortunately, we have to individually activate it at this time. So when somebody violates you, you have to get proper counsel, or you have to go in with enough knowledge and demand your damages, demand compensation or recompense for your damages. But if you don't have the know-how, if you don't have the money to hire counsel, if you don't have co-counsel, if you don't have any resources, you are out of luck. You can't walk in a court and use common sense. It is not going to work. Even when you have evidence sometimes, if you cannot present your legal arguments in legalese, in legal language, you are SOL. Shit out of luck. So, this is why I teach you guys how and why we are activating the Constitution. No longer should we have egregious violations where we cannot hold public officials accountable. No longer should we have egregious acts going on in our society and we are leaving it to a few to make decisions on the many. We as the many need to stand up and take responsibility and take on some of these responsibilities that are necessary to maintain a stable society. Imagine 28 point something million gone because somebody decided that something cost 31 million when it only costed 100 and something million. 28 or 29 and add million. Where did that money go? And whosoever authorized it, why are they not held accountable? We cannot keep on here problem. No solution. Poof. Oh, you know, we're investigating it. Oh, you know, how much in years you hear about investigation and no accountability. No one goes to jail. No one has to return the funds. No one is... You get to me, I say? Too long has this gone on. Unless you don't really care. And all the taxes that you've been paying over this time, which, you know, the public officials have clearly stated, it is the people's money. It is the people's taxes that they are using to do these things. It is all of the aid that we have received over the years, the many years. And when I say aid, we're talking about billions on top of billions. Probably reaching the trillions right now, the amount of aid we've received, but nothing directly given to the people. Nothing directly affecting the people. All that has been put in place are minuscule steps, minuscule progressions. And when I say minuscule, we don't have any accountability. We don't have any way to check to make sure that what is said is what is done. Terrible situation to be in. And when you look at it, you know, people, Jamaica is a rich country. Jamaica is, when time I say rich, just because you might feel, say, boy, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. You know, realize, say, because you're in a rich place, that is why you can't afford it. Because when I tell you, if the prices in Jamaica for items are more than it costs in other so-called first world countries, what does that tell you? That means that our value is above those other countries. Many things we have backwards, you know. We are looking at the currency and say, why the dollar get devaluated, dollar get devaluated. But that does not excuse the fact that items that are available in Jamaica, instead of them being cheaper, they are more expensive. And until we start realizing that we have these inherent powers, it will continue to go unchecked. It will continue to be talked about, and no action, no accountability, no one being held responsible. We cannot be giving away 100% of our power every election. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. Imagine all of these things happening and we can't come together and say, listen, this has to stop. We need to know who did this, who is to be held accountable, and someone has to pay. Someone has to return those funds because we did not authorize this action. We don't get to see nothing, no transparency. All we hear are about reports. Receipts, reports. We don't ever get to see what is in our treasury. We don't ever get to see what is really being held in trust for the people of Jamaica. We don't ever get to see that. Why? Because we have not demanded it. We continue to be a divided public. That is why. And until we do something as a collective, it will continue. I saw a post one time where, I don't know if he was an officer or what he said. This shall continue until God come from earth. And it's true. If we don't do something, it shall continue and continue and continue. And we will continue to complain and picket and march. And it's not going to materialize to anything. Picketing and marching has to come after action or with action. That by itself is a waste of time. It just brings awareness to something and then it fades away. Too much of that. We have all endured it. So let us come together and put something in place that we can say, we were the foundational start to something better. Because our children and our next generation coming up should not suffer as we have. We need to ensure that their future is brighter than ours. It shouldn't be the same. It shouldn't be take a time crab in a barrel. It should be a brighter future for our upcoming generation. And maybe we can enjoy some of it too, if we come together. Join class Wednesday at 5 p.m., Saturday at 10 a.m. And let us discuss and come together and start action. We talk too much, enough talking now. It's time for action. Big up on yourself. Lawful, always.
That's what we need to do. We have some of the biggest scammers in Jamaica, in the government. Not about white collar crime, because they're in there. And some of them scam more than the local scammers that's on the street making calls and trying to get people's money. We can't put the facts to God in house. If the government is corrupt, how can they guard the scammers when they're scammers themselves? It's not going to work. And that's why it's so prevalent in Jamaica. We need to fix that. You know, you're driving on the street, you know, the cop stops you. Right or left? What is that? Oh, you gotta write me a ticket or I have to leave something. Some of the cars that's because they're not being paid. They're not being paid. You know, the government has no money to pay civil servants. But yet, them can find money in the budget to pay over 200-300% to themselves, you know?
Jamaica, I am standing on another property for the Charles. And when I say Charles, I talk about Pernell Charles, Michelle Charles, the Charleses. Mrs. St. Thomas, I was invited here by the Member of Parliament, current Member of Parliament, Big up yourself for reaching out. Thank you. And this property that I'm standing on is a part of the over 1,300 and odd acres of land owned by the Charles. I'm going to say that for you slowly again. The piece of property where I stand up on is a part of the over 1,300 acre of land. 1,300 acres of land, while more than 800,000 Jamaicans are considered squatters. One politician owns over 1,300 acre of land. And we are actually taking 90% of our foods are coming from America when all of this land is left here. It's a land that usually have sugar cane and stuff, and of course governments come, governments went, and we end up taking sugar from overseas and have made these lands desolate. There's nothing here. But what is striking and what is very concerning is that I'm going to show you. If you look ahead, that's the road being developed. But as far as your eyes can see, hold on. One house. Take a guess and tell me whose house is that? Huh? The house that belongs to the Charles is a for them property. And out of the Spark program, 60.8 million Jamaican dollars for the Spark program for fix the road in an old Pira and new Pira, the community them. That these people, all they wanted was road. Michelle Charles decided to choose a road that only leads to their property to fix for them road, because them have plans, I understand, to build hotels and all kind of stuff. Yeah? So even fire hydrant around here, brand new fire hydrant, I saw it for myself. So the proper infrastructure is going in place to facilitate their foreign investor friends who are coming to, of course, I'm going to divest and put all kind of foreign people upon them lands and stuff, while the Jamaican people from old Pira, and in a new Pira, no have no road. Some of them don't even own a piece of land. Squatters. And Jamaica, why? Prosperity. Friggin' prosperity. And you're thinking that we should not be upset. We should not be outraged. We should not light tire in the road. We should not take this government to court. Every single one of them. Michelle Charles, I don't know you, I mean, I'm not against you. You know what I have a problem with? The fact that you came to Jamaica for 5 years and you took the country's money knowing very well that you're a citizen of America. And I believe that based on our constitution, America is not a part of the Commonwealth. If you're a part of the Commonwealth, residing in Jamaica for more than 12 months, then you're eligible for that position, and that's fine. You can hold dual citizenship where that is concerned. I am not versed in law, but one thing we know for a fact, America is not a part of the Commonwealth. So for you to have been holding that kind of citizenship, and then you take with money, and as they kick you out, you run overseas, and you spat in our face, you're spitting our face by telling us it is good to be home. Talking about America, you're going to say it is good to be home, and I miss this place. And all it needs is TLC, meaning tender love and care. And I also need TLC. Michelle, let me tell you this. Your father, your brother is in the parliament. Yeah? Nepotism, where families and friends take over our government. And this is what we have to deal with. The people around here, sir, are crying shame. All they've been asking for is just road. But you took $60 million of Jamaica's money, $60 million, to build this road that leads only to a property, only to Funo property. The other piece of road with the one or two little residents who might benefit way further down. Huh? But the majority of it is going to be fixing the road that leads to Funo property as far back as I can drive. No house not there, so until me reach all the way back. Rona old Pira. This is new Pira. Why would you do that? You must be brought back to this country And you must answer charges to treason. To treason. Jamaica, what we are doing? What are we doing? I am asking for the police and the soldiers in this country, the good police and the good soldiers, to start disobeying the laws, disobeying the orders and command, and arrest these politicians that are evil and crooked and wicked and evil, because your taxpayer money come out of your salary to go and fund these criminals. And you wonder why I'm so angry? Or no wonder why I get up so angry? You think so nobody pay me for come here, so? I was called, I was not paid. You can't pay me to be a Jamaican. Me's a patriot. To me dead. Another time when you cut me. Black, green and gold. Black, green and gold. Sick and tired of the evil in this damn country. And we're gonna take it from Uno. We're gonna take it from Uno. Remember me telling you, Uno quiet, Uno just allow Donald Trump to reap havoc on the Caribbean. Our Jamaican fishermen can't go out because they're scared of being bombed. And you as the Prime Minister collecting millions of dollars, and the nasty, dirty Governor General, and every single one of you collecting 1.4 million as MPs. Everyone keeping your mouths flipping shut. This is what Jamaica voted for. This is how you choose Jamaica. When you know that about Jamaica land we love. When the backside want to come out there and give me my shoulder for run country. When you think we can't stand up to Donald Trump, oh, we little and with this and with that. There are ways to stand up against a friggin' bully. You partner with a bigger bully. You partner with a bigger bully. Go partner with China and Russia. And get the other 70% of Jamaica. All the youths up on the corner, employ them, train them to be in marine law and all kind of stuff, and get them to work for the country and be and protect the coastlines and our borders. Jamaica, I don't know, you know. I love my country, you know. And I'm gonna say it again. I am willing to die for my country. So I want to bring it on to all of the done them, down at Tivoli, down at Jungle, Rima, wherever on the day. You hear me telling you, want to come together as one. Put aside the shittery. Because America about to invade Jamaica just like they do in Venezuela. Because Jamaica now have oil. Jamaica have oil galore. Jamaica have gold. Jamaica have copper. And them want it. And America wants any country where have anything. This is what the drunkard them want. Very soon, when they come here, to all the police them will love to kill on fellow brothers and sisters are only open and ready for American soldiers who are going to invade here, who don't give a shit, who are presently killing our Caribbean brothers and sisters. You think that the fight is far from us? Wanna watch a joke. And let me tell you something, you know. If you cannot do this country, and it is obvious you can't, come out there and get off in. Let me run it. Let me tear up a thinking constitution and make we quickly implement the constitution that we have, where we have land for the friggin' landless. We're not the most squatters in Jamaica. It is time for us to take a stand and defend our nation. I need people to be in the streets. Tomorrow is Eras Day. Where are the friggin' Eras? Andrew Holness, Usain Bolt should have been crowned a national hero. Shelley and Fraser Price and these people. You went to Usain Bolt's father funeral. And unless you ever talk about Usain Bolt as a national hero, you say at the man father funeral, you not have dirty thinking Bustamante as national hero. What Bustamante do? Every Rastafarian had to be running up and down across Jamaica. Rastafarians lose their lives, live in a bush like them a dog, like them a bird. Because you, Bustamante, put out a decree on them head dead or alive. And you have Rasta still have vote for one little dirty drunk, unknown heritage. Let me tell you something, you know. I am ready to fight. It's time for Jamaica to be outraged. Freaking outraged. $60 million to build private road to lead to the property while the rest of Jamaica suffer over here in St. Thomas. St. Thomas people want to know what to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I believe you've watched this video up to the end. Now, I'm really not here to talk about or rather condemn any politician. That's not the purpose of this video. So, if you guys, I feel like you need to throw insults. I'll be here listening, but I need to put something across. We are the same people who are to be blamed for all of these misfortunes that we are experiencing in our countries. Because what happened to voting in somebody who has the better vision of our countries at heart? Somebody who's going to serve us. How about we vote in somebody without checking, or rather without considering their backgrounds about where he is from, which language he speaks, his skin color? How about we vote from a neutral perspective, not from a hatred perspective, not from this person is from the same tribe as I am, not because this person speaks the same language as I am, because that's the same thing that has destroyed us. That's the same thing that has destroyed our countries. So, when I look at Marvin from Jamaica complain about government officials, politicians, thieving a huge amount of land, when I hear about Marvin talk about a certain politician, or rather person from a certain royal family who has thieved a huge amount of money to his own benefits, I mean, what do you expect, guys? What do you expect? Do you expect him to serve you? What do you expect of him to do? You voted this person into power. You voted thinking that this person will benefit you in any way because he speaks the same language like you do. But here we are. Facing the consequences of our own actions. Now, I love to put a point across, like, just make it clear. Not that I don't agree with what Marvin has said. Not that I agree with what these dirty politicians are doing, but the truth is, we are to be blamed. That's what we planted, so we have to reap what we sow. You don't expect another country to face that. You don't expect Trinidad and Tobago to face whatever thing you're going through. We don't expect any other country in Kenya here, in Africa, I mean, to face a punishment of our own actions. I mean, that's the same person who's supposed to serve us in our own country. We voted that person in. So under no way are we to expect any other country to suffer. We are going to suffer. We are going to suffer, not any other country. So, what Marvin said is okay. It's true. It's correct. Everything it's okay. But the biggest question is, who is supposed to be blamed? Are we supposed to blame these people? If not for us, you tell me, will these people be into power? If not for us, would we be having these cases whereby doctors are complaining about lack of enough hospital beds in their hospitals, lack of enough proper medical facilities? Even to some hospitals, there is a case of a lady here in my country who was bitten by a snake, taken to this hospital, and then the hospital said that it had run out of the antidote. Guess what? The lady ended up losing her life. This is because these are the consequences of our own actions. Now, I wake up early in the morning, me as Kagira, and I plan on, it's a voting day, so I actually have to go and vote. So you'll understand that I'm going to vote from a hatred perspective. I don't really have the better vision of what's going to happen after we place this person into power. Because I feel like this person speaks the same language like I do. So I'm brainwashed to feel like he will care for us. Shock onto me. This person will not care about me. He is there to benefit himself. He is there to fatten their pockets. How many cases have we had over politicians, kids studying abroad, not in our own countries? Now you tell me, does that mean our schools are better? Is our schools better? If the same person who voted into power chose to take his kids to a school in abroad, or rather in the diaspora, well, we are going to continue suffering until, you mark that, until we are going to suffer until we gain some brains, until we have our eyes open. We are to be blamed, man. We are to be blamed for everything that's happening. If not for us, these dirty politicians wouldn't be where they are. We wouldn't be complaining about them stealing our money. We wouldn't be complaining about them stealing our taxes and not doing anything. We have poor infra roads, we have poor hospitals, poor schools, doctors not being paid, teachers not being paid. We've seen strikes, protests every time. We've seen youths being unalived. And like I said, this doesn't just apply to Jamaica alone. Even in my country, we are facing the same problem. So you tell me, what do you think it's the right solution to this? So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I've been your host, Kagira Scope, and I have to say thank you so much for the love and support. And if you're still watching this video up to this point, I'm really grateful for that. Let's make a change. Let the change start with us. We can't do something wrong and expect somebody else to face the consequences. We are the same people who are going to face these consequences. So let's be brave, let's be smart, let's be bold, and let's be loud. So until we meet again in my next video, peace out and one love.